smell something?
Campfire.
Oh, my goodness. Good morning and welcome to Nature Watch. Nature Watch is sponsored by Waddell's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. And now your host of Nature Watch as I park the smoke in the studio, it's Gary Miller. Hi there.
Good morning.
Oh.
I just commented to the gym when I came in because it's been hazy out there. You've noticed the smoke, particulate matter, and we've had that air quality alert still through tomorrow, at least. And I noticed a couple of days it actually bothered me. But when I got out of my truck this morning here at the studio, it smelled like a campfire.
I almost ran home and got marshmallows.
That's what I was thinking, too.
and
some s'mores for breakfast.
Hot dogs. You could have hot dogs for breakfast. I've seen it happen.
Or sausages. You can roast sausages instead of hot dogs.
Exactly. Yeah, it was bugging me, too, over the last couple of days. Today might be a little more challenging because now we can smell it this morning. I wasn't able to smell it the last two.
Yeah, I couldn't either, but this morning definitely you can smell it. So, and I know that Scott was saying the forecast earlier this morning that looks like maybe later today might be, depending on how the winds shift, might be pretty drastic. So folks that have trouble with air quality might want to stay indoors or take it easy.
That would be me. But I have plenty of places indoors to stay at.
Well, and actually, because the weather's nice, actually a great day to sit outside underneath a shade tree and enjoy the weather because it's not so blasted hot outside.
Actually, a friend of mine had a great idea. We might do this today. Go see The Naked Gun. I heard it's hilarious. But anyway, let's get back on topic.
So actually
here.
with the weather, it's been, we were very hot at the beginning of the week. It finally got comfortable, and then we've got the air quality issue going on. And it's not just wildfire smoke from Canada. We've got some from the States here, too. And I've actually been very surprised that we haven't had more wildfires out west because they are very, very, very dry out west. A lot of the areas where we typically see wildfires develop, very, very dry. So actually, some good news, surprisingly, that the drought monitor here in southwest Michigan, we reduced some of the area that were in that abnormally dry condition, surprisingly, because we had some big downpours, and usually downpours, and they come that fast, most of it runs off. The ground's so dry, it's just sucking that moisture up whenever it can. And we've had just enough moisture to keep plants relatively happy. But if you dig down deeper, it's dry. So last Saturday, during the show, I had a friend in Vicksburg that emailed me on my personal email account, and Craig noted, he said, I noted your drought monitor comment a moment ago on the show, also how little rain we got around here Thursday. This summer, it seems like we've gotten rain at decent intervals, which I would agree with Craig. Right. It's been spotty. I was therefore stunned when digging out a busted 4x4 fence post Thursday. Even in my very clay soil down 3 feet plus, I never hit any moisture in the soil. Even the clay stuff was just all crumbles. Very surprised at that. We need some very long, very slow rains later this summer and the fall.
Yeah, we
and
do.
yes, we do.
Yeah, yes, desperately.
I just thought it was interesting because I've heard that from our crews when they're out planting plants from Waddell's. The soil is dry down there. So we've had just enough at the surface. The plants are using it up as fast as they can get it. But down below, not getting anything.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. If we don't catch up before winter, we could use a good snowstorm or four. I'm just saying. And I'm not encouraging it to happen, but it may have to.
I think I heard some listeners just shouting, bite your tongue, bite your tongue.
I am now the most hated man in Kalamazoo.
I would agree with you, Jim, that if we don't get the rain this summer and fall yet and get some good soaking rain.
Yeah, we need a winter.
We need a winter with lots of snow, and then it melts very slowly so it can go back and then get that ground moisture build up again.
Yeah, like the good old days when we still had snowpacks in April. It's okay. Yeah, I'll shut up now.
So
let's do a trivia question because
so I got one of your favorites today. I got a two-parter.
Okay, good, because I just depressed everybody.
So I saw some activity this week, and so I was actually looking up some info on this particular bird and some of its relatives. So my two-part question today is, what was the first banded bird in North America? And the second part is, who banded it?
I didn't.
And it's somebody very famous. So I'd like a little clue.
I didn't want to work today. Okay, you and these two-parters.
I'll tell you, this is a softball. It's a two-part softball.
Okay, first of all, 269-382-4280. First correct caller with a two-part answer, apparently, will win a $20 gift card to Waddell's. What is that question again?
Yeah, so what was the first banded bird in North America, and who banded it?
Okay, and if you've won in the last 30 days, please do not call. Let's get someone new up here, okay? 269-382.
Like I said, this is a softball. I really think it's a softball.
Okay. Well, your softball and my softball are different.
Well, that's true. That's true. So, some things coming up. On Monday, Kalamazoo Nature Center has a free admission day. So if you don't have anything going on, weather's going to be nice to go out and maybe hike around some of their trails. So it might be a good day to go out and enjoy some of that weather. We'll talk a little later on about the Perseid meteor showers, but looking at the forecast for tonight and tomorrow night, there's some great nights to lose some sleep.
Now, where is the moon sitting at? Now, what phase are we in? Because I didn't look.
So the moon, I was looking at the moon sets tonight at 12:28 a.m.
Oh, so if you just stay up.
Or if you get some sleep earlier and then set the alarm for like about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, the moon will be totally set. You'll have that nice clear sky. The sky's going to be very clear.
Okay.
Tomorrow night, the moon sets at 12:58 a.m. So a little bit later, but still, I just thought, tonight would be a good night because it's going to be in the mid to upper 50s. So the mosquito activity should be slim or none. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be very comfortable, nice and clear, except for the smoke, particulates, but that should be able to see the meteors through that. Mm-hmm. And tonight would be a good night so that we can catch up on sleep tomorrow for work on Monday if you have to go to work on Monday.
I have different plans. I am going to go to Texas Township Farmers Market after we get done here today and pick me up some sweet corn. I'm going to go find a couple of steaks and party. It's finally grilling weather because it was just too hot.
Oh, yeah, it was too hot to do anything. You usually try to cook outside when it's so hot. Even if you got air in the house, you're like, okay, let's not add any more heat to the house. Yeah. But it's so hot outside, you didn't even want to grill outside. Okay,
269-382-4280. We do have a trivia question going, and we have no takers yet. Why don't you
maybe everybody's sleeping in this morning. Maybe they tried staying up last night looking at this meteor shower.
And then left the windows open and are like, I'm not moving.
So the question today is a two-part. What was the first banded bird in North America? And the second part is who banded it? I actually did a couple search on a couple search engines, and the answer came up pretty rapidly. Just a hint.
Okay.
So we'll see. Maybe everybody's just waking up slowly this morning and just sipping their coffee and not quite totally awake yet, or so need some extra caffeine.
Right.
So this next Saturday, Pierce Cedar Creek Institute up near Hastings has their free open house from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And they have all sorts of fun activities. They ask that you register ahead of time. They do have some free Mooville Creamery ice cream, free hot dogs and treats. They're going to have yard games activities. You can explore their trails and facilities. And they're going to have a new art exhibit. So that's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. next Saturday, the 9th. And neat place to go. They've got all sorts of neat trails and activities going on there. So
okay, I think we do have a caller here. Let's go to the phones. Good morning, WKZO. Who is this?
Janet.
Is this who? I'm sorry.
Janet.
Hi, Janet. How are you?
Real good.
Good. Okay, Gary thinks it's a softball. My softball's a little different. It's harder to hit. So Gary, why don't you repeat the question?
So what was the first banded bird in North America, and then who banded it?
It's the Eastern Phoebe.
That's correct.
And John James Audubon.
That is correct.
Okay.
So see, Janet was awake this morning. Didn't take her that long to find it.
But of course, it's not tough to confuse me. Trust me.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that one.
Okay.
Really.
Okay, Janet, we do have a gift card coming for you. Can you hold on the phone? I need to get some information from you and let you know how to pick it up and all that fun stuff, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Hang on the line
Congratulations.
there, Janet. Yeah, and And we'll be back with more Nature Watch after this on WKZO.
Trees from Waddell's are cool. Know why? Trees planted around buildings can reduce heating and cooling costs by 20%. Now that's cool. Trees also add curb appeal to your home and can add 15% to your property's value. That's cool too. And everyone knows that trees filter pollutants and absorb carbon dioxide. Now that's really cool. And now's your chance to save big at Waddell's on a big selection of trees, shrubs, and evergreens. For some instant shade to cool your home and outdoor living area, choose from Autumn Blaze Maple, Brandywine Maple, or Matador Maple. Each of these shade makers are on sale for $269. Or if you mix and match and get 3 or more maple trees, they're just $250 each. Some other beauties on sale at Waddell's include Sparkling Sprite Crabapple, Prairie Fire Crabapple, Autumn Brilliant Serviceberry, Eastern Clump Redbud, or a Dura Heat Birch Tree. Mix and match and save even more at Waddell's Nursery Florist and Garden Center on Texas Drive at the corner of Millam and 12th Street.
Local news is like the most important stuff to me.
You know what's going on in your local community.
Kalamazoo's official online local news source is WKZO.com.
842, Janet from Kalamazoo, a big winner of a $20 gift card from Waddell's as Nature Watch continues with your host, Gary Miller.
Yeah, so that trivia question was triggered. I noticed several times the last week or so that I've seen members of the flycatcher family out in various areas. And flycatcher family, most of them are noted that they can hover trying to stir insects up. And that's usually where I've seen them, and that's what I saw several members of the flycatcher family out and several times trying to get insects, and so they were hovering, waiting for those insects to move. So in 1804, the eastern phoebe was the first one bird banded in North America. John James Audubon attached a silvered thread to its leg to track its return on successive years, and actually did several birds that way. And lo and behold, they returned to the same area. So that's what sort of started the whole banding program here in North America. So eastern phoebes are sort of unique that they've actually expanded their range. They use buildings and bridges for nest sites, so they've actually tolerated landscape changes by humans. And they still like to use natural nest sites when they're available. They often, unlike most birds, use or reuse nests in subsequent years. Sometimes barn swallows use them in between. And in turn, eastern phoebes may renovate and use old American robin or barn swallow nests themselves. And the eastern phoebe is actually a loner, rarely coming in contact with other phoebes. Even members of a mated pair do not spend much time together. They may roost together early in pair formation, but even during egg laying, the female frequently chases the male away from her. So they, have expanded their range with activity, and so keep an eye out. You'll see several or quite a few of the members of the flycatcher family have crests on their heads, so their feathers look like they've got the crest, and they will hover actually not too far above the ground. Though some of them, like the kingbird, is actually some of those birds are up in the top of the tree canopy. So a lot of the smaller ones and some of them that hover around the ground store those insects up. It's interesting that some of the members of the flycatcher family, when they migrate, so they're primarily insect eaters now, they will eat some fruit. They get all their liquids from insects and the occasional fruit that they eat. When they migrate, usually to Central America, parts of South America, depending on the particular species, they eat primarily fruit. So they, adjust their intake of food depending on where they're at and what time of year it is. So I thought that was pretty interesting to see. So I actually ran across some information on the DNR News Digest this week. They're have some volunteer opportunities here in Southwest Michigan, and actually the little article in the News Digest was titled, "Show the Great Outdoors Some Love," and give you an opportunity to volunteer with various things. So several state parks here in Southwest Michigan, Saugatuck Dunes in Allegan County, and Yankee Springs Recreation Area in Berry County, Fort Custer here in Kalamazoo County, right next to Calhoun County. So we've got some opportunities. If you go to their website and actually go to their news media page, you can find that. So the volunteer opportunities at Saugatuck Dunes are August 3rd and 4th, tomorrow, or 3rd and the 24th, so 3 weeks from tomorrow. The Yankee Springs is on the 16th, on a Saturday, and Fort Custer is on the 23rd on a Saturday. So volunteer opportunities there. And then also the Michigan United Conservation Club's volunteer program in partnership with the DNR is also doing some volunteer opportunities here in Southwest Michigan. And one of the things that they're looking at doing is invasive species removal. And we talk about invasive species a lot at Gordon Neck State Game Area here in Kalamazoo County. And that's on the 30th of August, on a Saturday. So they're going to be trying to remove some of those native or those invasive plant species. I mentioned that because I actually I attended via Zoom a webinar this last week again that was put on by the Eagle Department, so the Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy Department with the state of Michigan, in conjunction with the Michigan Department of Agricultural and Rural Development, MDARD, and Department of Natural Resources, MDNR. Mm-hmm. They're all working together, and this whole webinar series is called Not My Species, MI for Michigan, Not My Species. And it's a whole, they usually do once a month meetings via Zoom, last about an hour, and they do all sorts of different invasive species. This last week on Tuesday, they were talking about spotted lanternfly again.
Well, gee.
And tree of heaven. And there were some interesting facts with that I wanted to share with listeners. So Dr. Deborah McCullough was the speaker for the webinar, and she's been working very closely with, she's at Michigan State, very closely with Ohio State, because down around Toledo there's quite a population of spotted lanternfly.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so they've been doing all sorts of research trying to slow the spread to see what's going to work. They've been confirmed here in Michigan, in Pontiac, in Oakland County originally, and then also last year in Wayne, Lenawee, Monroe, and Macomb counties.
Basically, southeast Michigan, northwest Ohio is where we're targeting.
And if you remember correctly, I've mentioned before that just across the line here of southwestern Michigan, they confirmed around the South Bend area last year. So I got a couple counties there. It's interesting because the spotted lanternfly, the females, lay eggs in just about any kind of surface. On their host trees that they prefer, the tree of heaven, but they will feed on all sorts of other trees. But they also will lay egg masses on vehicles, or can. And if you look at the spread of spotted lanternfly, look at the map, and overlay it on primary road corridors, interstates, but more importantly, over railway corridors, it basically follows the same pattern. And I'm
going to wash my car later today.
So actually, that brings up a good point. If you're in an area that spotted lanternfly has been confirmed, or you're near that, they actually ask you to do a thorough inspection of your vehicle before you travel.
Ooh, inside and out. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and just to make sure we don't try to spread it anymore. Interesting thing is that tree of heaven is their preferred food, and much preferred host food. So their spotted lanternfly is in the leafhopper family of insects, and they don't fly very far. They might fly 30 to maybe 50, 60 meters, maybe as much as 100 meters in short distances. If they're pushed to really fly in a straight line, they might fly about a mile and a half, but they're typically not flying. Dr. McCullough is an entomologist, and she said it's they don't attack you as far as when you see spotted lanternfly, but they may jump into your face. It's startling even when you're an entomologist. So she also said if you see the egg masses, and they've got photos on the Michigan Invasive Species websites. Michigan State's got a spotted lanternfly webpage. USDA. There's quite a few web pages that have information on, and there's also some lookalikes, so you want to make sure you don't squish any lookalikes. And speaking of squishing, last week I mentioned the tennis match in D.C. with Emma Navarro and Maria Sakkari, and wasn't sure, hadn't found any confirmation that it was a spotted lanternfly, though it looked like one. I did get confirmation this week. It was a spotted lanternfly. So that ball boy knowing that it was a spotted lanternfly after Maria Sakari had rescued it out from the court and put it at the edge of the court, proceeded to squish it right away.
And national TV
On
obviously
national
reported
TV.
it.
Probably international TV. Yeah, it was. So
Okay, I got a question. Are you hitting the USTAs at all while they're playing this week?
no, actually I haven't.
Oh, yeah. Here's your chance,
Yeah.
Burn a day off and go watch some tennis. You don't have to watch it on TV.
Well, actually, if the weather's comfortable, I'm trying to get some yard work done because it's actually out there sweating getting sweat off my eyes all the time, and it's actually nice working in the yard when it's comfortable.
Yeah, that's true. Andy isn't here today. We did record a show ahead of time. Of course, when he leaves, the weather gets nice. What's going on with that?
Maybe you should go on vacation more often. Just saying. The other couple interesting facts that Dr. McCullough pointed out, the spotted lanternfly, even though the tree of heaven is their preferred host, and tree of heaven is an invasive plant, the mature tree of heaven can produce as many as 300,000 or more seeds per year. And it also spreads via sprouts coming up from the root system. Mm-hmm. And so if you try to eradicate it and remove it, those little pieces of root may sprout. It is hard to eradicate once it's in place. But they're also asking if you see spotted lanternfly or know it's coming this way, excuse me, to actually remove that tree of heaven. Tree of heaven is one of the big tools that the spotted lanternfly is using to spread, and they think is eliminating the tree of heaven will slow down that spread of spotted lanternfly. Spotted lanternfly will also feed on just about anything else, and the females, besides the nymphs feeding on plants, the adults will also feed. So there's one generation a year. Most likely not going to kill, at least in the short term, kill plants, but may affect in the long term. The big concern is that after tree of heaven, their next popular host plants have been grapes and hops vines. So the beverage industries are going to be a little concerned about some activity from spotted lanternfly. The Penn State did a study. It's interesting. Did a study in 2022, trying to see how effective or how much the spotted lanternfly used the tree of heaven or required tree of heaven in part of its lifetime, and so they took 25 caged females, two different groups. Had one group in a caged in area that had young black walnut and tree of heaven plants. And if you remember, black walnut and tree of heaven look very similar as far as the leaves. And that 25 females laid 26 egg masses, so basically one egg mass per female. They also did the same experiment at the same time with 25 females in a caged area with just black walnut trees. And they found that the 25 caged females only laid 4 egg masses when they just fed on black walnut. So they think that possibly if none of the nymph stages or the adults feed on tree of heaven, it may really slow their population spread down. They're also seeing maybe a little bit of activity in slowing population spread down, in that some of the native birds have discovered that spotted lanternflies are edible. And they've actually had some instances where praying mantises have eaten them. So good chance that maybe some of our native plants and birds and insects might be able to help control spotted lanternfly to some extent. But still important to try to eliminate that tree of heaven so we can slow the spread. And if you're not sure, they've got look-alike photos on the invasive websites again, so you can make sure you get the right one. Not the black. Don't remove a black walnut or a sumac. A lot of sumac looks like same sort of leaflet structure.
269-382-4280. Just have a couple of minutes left. If you're trying to call in, it takes me a minute to get in the other studio and answer the phone. I don't want to answer it here because then you'll hear me talking.
So we had another tornado.
Yep, number 30.
And it was interesting because there was a lot of squawking and I saw Michigan Storm Chasers had posted that there were no warnings for it. And there was a reason for that. So Michigan Storm Chasers had posted that in Michigan here, there are 6 main radars that they utilize for predicting weather and watching the weather and making those issuing those warnings and that.
And it's the National Weather Service that issues the warnings, not Michigan Storm Chasers.
Right. So they just pass on information. So the 6 sites, Pontiac and White Lake area near Detroit, Grand Rapids, Seagull Lake up near Gaylord, Marquette, North Webster, Indiana, which is northern Indiana, and then Sumter Township in the Detroit metro area. And so those are the 6 radar locations. They also have assistance from 3 Canadian radars near the Thumb area, Sault Ste. Marie, and Isle Royale. So there's some Canadian radar that's close to that. So radars allow them to see most of the state. However, radar beam is in a straight line. And if you remember, we have a curvature of the Earth. And so if you go 60 miles or more away from the radar, your beam height is around 5,000 feet. So anything that's below 5,000 feet, they can't see on the radar. And that's what happened with that tornado near Deckerville.
That was incredible. Yeah.
So they, they couldn't see anything in the radar because it was below the radar. So that's there's a couple areas around. So that's why that whole spotter network that the National Weather Service trains, it's a volunteer thing. If you want to do that, go to their website. They do periodic trainings, and it's worthwhile to have some good trained volunteers. Even where we've got radar, they use that visual sighting too to help predict weather and issue warnings if they need to.
Yeah, if you're a weather geek, that's a great idea to do.
It's weather spout. Weather spout time here in the fall too, because I just spotted a long one in Saginaw Bay yesterday. So pretty narrow band of wind that created it. You don't always have to have clouds for those.
Yeah. September, October seems to be our water spout.
Yeah, so it's actually this is August. August starts the fall water spout.
Yeah, we start getting the clash in air masses, the more severe clashes, and there you go. All right, working today?
Actually, no. I got a family reunion to go to on my wife's side, so got the day off. A nice, perfect weather day for that.
Yeah, there you go. You planned that right. Good job.
Yes,
and enjoy, and thank you for listening to this edition of Nature Watch. Tune in each Saturday morning at 8:30 for Nature Watch. Brought to you by Waddell's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. CBS and local news up next, and then a special edition of Over the Garden Fence right here on 590 and 106.9 FM WKZO.